Yo, look what came in. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, you can. It's shiny. Okay, so this is why I like black on black. It's so subtle, and it has like, since it's ink on cloth, it has a shine to it. I'm so excited how these turned out. Thank you to everyone who bought one. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. What I have for you guys today is 10 easy handrail tricks. I decided to do these tricks on a smaller handrail since I am teaching them, and the Vans Park was closed, so I just came down to Westminster Skate Park. Yeah, so we got 10 easy handrail tricks. 50-50s, 5-0s, nose grinds, Smith grinds, lip slide, backside board slides, backside feebles, backside 50-50s, and crooked grinds. I think I forgot one. Frontside board slide. Now, some of these are gonna be a little easier than others. Not all of them are super easy, but I think personally, they all fall within the easy category. If you're just starting to skate handrails, you learn how to do board slides, you learn how to do 50-50s on handrails, then you want to step it up and do a few more tricks. So I think that these are the 10 tricks that everybody first learns. Maybe not, I'm sure obviously it's different for everybody, but for me, these are the first 10 tricks that I learned on handrails. The first one, 50-50s. When you get into a 50-50, now I've done a tutorial on 10 easy grinds. Kind of applies the same way. To do 50-50s, you wanna lock in on the side of your trucks, stay center over the rail. So the thing about skating handrails is you don't really need to lean too far back unless the rail is extremely sticky, which if a rail is extremely sticky, a handrail that is, you probably shouldn't be skating it anyway, or you should put some wax on it. Not that you shouldn't be skating it, you can skate whatever the hell you want, I don't care, have fun. My point is that you don't really need to even lean back, you just get on the rail and you coast right down, you just land, you pop out, you land out. You don't even really need to pop, you're just gonna fall right out, land, absorb the impact as if you're riding off of a drop or a ramp. It's very simple. I'm not gonna go too heavy into detail on how to do each of these tricks because that would be a separate video. I'm just gonna tell you how to do them down a handrail. The second trick I would say down handrails is board slides. You probably actually want to do board slides first before 50-50s. That's typically the first trick I did on a handrail. I'm not sure with anybody else. But so you just want to approach the rail at, now for all of these, I need to mention, you want to approach the rail with enough speed. I typically like to go, if it's a rail that I'm uncomfortable with and that I have not skated before, I tend to go a little faster, making sure that if I stick on the rail or if I miss my pop and I end up over the rail, spreading my legs, that I have enough speed to clear to the bottom so that I slam on the bottom and do not sack the rail, because that is the worst thing ever. I've done it several times. It's not fun, it is terrible. So you just wanna make sure you have enough speed to go at the rail, and you wanna pop like you're gonna do a board slide on a flat bar or a ledge, pop 90 degrees, and you're gonna maintain your balance by centering your weight directly over the rail, putting enough balance on each side of the board, and then once you get to the end, you just turn out like you would on any other flat bar or any other ledge. The third trick I would say is probably front boards. I skipped this one. I did not learn front boards on handrails for a while because they scared me. I always had this problem of like olling up and like missing my pop with my front foot and just like falling backwards over the rail. We don't have that problem anymore, but typically most people learn that trick very early on down handrails. You're gonna apply the same concept to the board slide, only you're gonna ollie 90 backside, and then once you get to the end of the rail, you're gonna turn out. Now this trick is very important to keep your shoulders turned, so you turn your hips, lean into the rail, keep your shoulders straight, and once you get to the end, you just pull out to the side. It's a little different on board slide because on board slide, you can literally slide perpendicular with the rail. But on front boards, you wanna keep your shoulders straight and just turn your hips. Since you're going backwards, you wanna be able to look back behind you. Moving on to 5-0s. 5-0s, you would do this same as you would on any other ledge or rail. Instead of a 50-50, how you're gonna ollie straight on and down. Since it's down a handrail and it's gonna be angled downward, you're basically just gonna ollie straight out and just apply pressure to the back. There's a spot where typically you wanna lock in. I talk about this a lot, right here. They call it pinch now.
Oh my God!
That's a newer term, but I'm familiar with the pinch. You wanna pinch it right here between your wheel, at the corner of your wheel, and the corner of your truck. That's a perfect lock-in spot. If you lock in just right, you'll notice that your board is turned, angled just a little bit as you're going down the rail. That's how you know you're locked in. You can get into it other ways. You can get into it on the center and it will work also, especially if it's a square rail. Maintain your balance. Don't lean too far back on this one because since you are grinding on the back end of your board, still lean forward as if you were also doing a 50-50. Just apply that pressure and come out smoothly, ride out smoothly, pop out, fall out, however you're gonna get out. Next trick, lip slides. This is frontside lip slide, by the way. It's when you ollie up frontside and you turn 90 over the rail, raising your back truck over top of the rail, as opposed to a board slide pulling your front truck over to the side of the rail. You're gonna ollie up and swing your backside over. The definition of a lip slide. There's a lot of hip action in this one. You just wanna make sure you're popping high enough, turning 90 degrees, and you wanna kinda like lean into the rail this way. That way your weight is over here, your weight is over to the side. So by the time you're ready to come out, the momentum will naturally just kind of pull yourself and your board and your body out of the rail back to regular. Moving on, Smith grinds. Now, with Smith grinds, especially on rails, they tend to be easier than on ledges. And the reason being so is because you have, like I said here before with the 5-0, you have a pinch right here between the wheel and the truck, and the rail sits right here. So when you get into a Smith grind, your board kind of tilts a little bit, just like a feeble grind. We'll get to that next. Your board kind of tilts just a little bit, therefore locking it in perfect position to get out of the rail. Now with Smith grinds, since it is kind of digging into the rail a little more, you do want to lean a little bit back, not too much, because since you're going down a handrail, you might slip out if you lean too far back. Just apply all that pressure back here on the back truck, and once you get to the end, just give it a little lift, and you'll ride and pop right out. Next trick, backside feeble grinds. Now, backside feebles are a pretty common, easy trick on handrails. Yes, all of these tricks can be hard, but once you get the hang of them and once they click, you will understand that it will make sense. They should be pretty easy. So backside feeble grinds. You're gonna ollie onto the rail backside. Now, you're gonna get into this just like you would get into a Smith grind. You're not lifting your back truck up over the rail like a Smith grind. You're lifting your front truck up over the rail and landing on your back truck. But it's still the same idea. With a feeble, since you're coming onto it backside, you're gonna be leaning a little more to the other side than usual. You're still gonna keep a pressure on the back end of the board and on the back truck, but it's gonna lock in a lot easier because it's a feeble grind. For some reason, feebles work because your weight is already distributed to that side of the board and obstacle. So you're gonna lock into the pinch and the pockets, and once you get to the end, just apply pressure on the back and just push right out. You just lift up just a little bit and push right out, land, absorb with your knees, etc. What's the next trick? I would say nose grinds. When nose grinding a rail, you have a lot of pinching going on here with a lot of these tricks. Nose grind, I know that there's gonna be like a spew of comments saying that's not a nose grind, that's an overcrook. I call them nose grinds. A lot of other people call them nose grinds. Some call them overcrooks. I know in the early 90s, it literally wasn't a nose grind unless you were straight, and an overcrook was literally crooked. Somewhere along the line, I didn't make the rules. That got lost. Overcrooks are now considered nose grinds, unless it's backside. Weird rule, I didn't make it up, just the way it is. So when you do a nose grind, you have a pinch right here front side. If you're regular or goofy, if you're goofy, it's over here. You're gonna lock in on this pinch, and when you lock in on the rail, you're gonna notice that your board turns a little bit, therefore locking in so much easier. Because if you're to just go straight over, you really have to struggle to maintain balance and maintain on the center of your truck. It's very hard to hold like that for a long time. So if you're doing a long rail, this pinch technique actually helps a lot. Just kind of pinch it in between. The rail tends to go from corner of truck and wheel to the corner of the nose of your board, and you just lock in and sit right in it. And when you're approaching the end of the rail, you just give it a little nudge so that your back truck clears the end of the rail. It doesn't hit the rail as you're coming out, and you just kind of give it like a little nollie bonk out of the rail. And you land, absorb, and ride away, and happily ever after. Okay. Now this trick is honestly harder it's become more popular in more recent years, but when I grew up skating, I don't think it was very popular to do this trick on handrails because it's hard. Now you might think it's simple because it's just a 50-50 grind, but doing a 50-50 grind backside, there is a lot more control and aim action then front side. You really have to aim for, okay, so you have to aim for the corners of the board. You want to aim for this corner here on the truck and wheel and this corner here, so opposite corners. They call that kitty corner, catty corner, I don't remember, whatever. Diagonal. You want to lock in on the heel side of your back truck and the toe side of your front truck. So you're gonna kind of act like you're doing a feeble, but you want to miss the feeble and you want to straighten out just a little bit. You don't want to lock in on these corners here, typically, because what will most likely happen if you lock in toe side, your board's gonna flip behind the rail and you're gonna go chest over the rail. It's not fun, it sucks. I've done it several times, it's terrible. So if you lock in like this perfectly, you have a better chance of just riding it all the way through. And what I've learned recently is these tend to be pretty easy to hold. When you lock in just right, because you're so centered over the rail that you just look towards the end of the rail and you just roll right out of it. It's not like a 50-50 how you kind of have to try to balance it a little bit. Commitment with this trick is the hardest part because it's so terrifying. But if you can get the commitment aspect down and get the lock in and the aim just right, then getting into this trick and riding it all the way through, it's like the most magical, majestic thing ever. That's so stupid, why did I say it like that? It's like the easiest, most fun grind ever, I swear. It feels amazing locking in on this trick and just riding it forever as long as you possibly can. Moving on to our last trick. I don't necessarily think this is the hardest trick, but this is just the order that I did these in. Now this is the crooked grind. This tends to be a trick that a lot of people learn very early on as well when they start skating handrails. And the reason why is because you can get into this trick as many times as you want without fully committing. So it's kind of like a trick that you try to do that you can gradually get closer and closer and closer to doing until you're fully confident that you're like, okay, this try I'm gonna go for it and we're gonna lock in, stay on top of the rail and push out. Now with that being said, you can have your weight off over here, but you can throw your board at the rail and still get into crooked grind and kind of press in with your front foot and just like let it ride all the way down. And then once you get comfortable, let me explain it. You ollie straight up backside, almost like you're gonna do a nose slide, but don't turn 90 degrees all the way. You wanna just kind of press down at an angle. The more parallel you go with this trick, I think the easier it tends to be for me. That's just for me though. You ollie up, turn like 45 degrees, aim your truck and your nose into the rail crooked. Now with this, you wanna make sure you're staying so centered over the top of the rail because that is what is gonna allow you to pop out. If you're staying too far off to the side, the board is gonna flip toe side out in front of you because you need to be centered so that you have the ability to lean back and to just pop out of the trick. So just like a nose grind, once you get towards the end of the rail, if you're centered over it, you just give it a little nudge, nollie out, so that your back truck can clear the end of the rail and you can come out, absorb, ride away clean, and have a blast. Now I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I tried to keep this short and concise so that we can get some more footage in here because I tend to do these really long and I'm trying to not do that so much anymore. But I hope this helped and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yes, and I know that this was a lot more talking and it was not as concise as I hoped it would be, but a lot of information goes into learning new tricks. If I just do one trick, it's a lot easier to keep it concise, but since this was 10 tricks, there was a lot of information so that you guys can actually learn how to do the tricks. I need to explain them as best as I can so that this video is at least helpful for those that want to learn how to skate handrails. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I need to eat an Oreo. The Joanne shirts, the black on black shirts, and the stickers will all be shipping next week as soon as we move into our new place. We're moving in 2 days and it's just been crazy busy. I'm sorry for the delay, you guys, but literally, honestly, thank you for everything. I just used literally improperly.
I told you 8!
Oh my god.
I am the one, the way your son knows.
Dale, you know how to do this better than I do, right? Tell the truth.